tonight's Board of Health meeting for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. We are being recorded. So we're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with roll call, please.
Ron Fickner here.
Joyce Gilmore here. Colin Chaconi here.
Jack McClellan here.
Alan Greenberg here. James all here. Thank you very much for coming in this evening. Good and welfare for the public. We have no one in the live audience. Do we have anyone at home?
Nobody at home.
Moving on to new business. Anybody have no objections?
No.
We're rolling right along here. Board of Health Title V engineering fee discussion continued.
All right, well, the last Board of Health meeting, we were talking about the Title V engineering fees for the revolving account. And it was recognized that we weren't charging enough for the cost of Tom Reiner, a BOH engineer, and Stephen Donatelli, the on-site inspection engineer for septic plants. We had increased the first septic pricing, but we didn't update the second and the third pricing, depending on how many gallons per day the systems are. So as you can see, I got the information after talking with Vice Chairman Fickner to reach out to Stephen Donatelli and Tom Reiner to get their normal average of times that they review the plans and do the inspections on site. You can see from the email from Tom Reiner, the increase for 441 gallons per day to 2,000 gallons per day, the cost would be 330. And for 2,001 gallons per day or more, it'd be 440. And that's what just the plan reviews. And for Steve Donatelli,
Okay, hang on one
I'm
second.
sorry,
I think the category that I'm looking at on the sheet, construction, 220 to 450 gallons per day. You're saying our cost is 330?
it would be 330, correct?
Okay. And then the next category we have is 441 to 2,000.
441 to 2,000 would be 330.
That's our cost.
That would be the plan review, Tom Reiter's cost.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with,
Steve Donatelli, no.
okay, so these numbers that I'm looking at are just numbers from Tom.
Correct. These are Tom Reiter's plan reviews as itself.
Thank you. Continue, please.
And for the third one, the 2,001 gallons per day or more, we're looking to increase with Tom Reiter's fee up to 440, so 4 plan reviews.
Okay,
So for Steve Donatelli for his on-site inspections, the 440 gallons per day, it would be $300 for Stephen Donatelli,
up to 440.
up to 440, correct?
Say that number again, please.
The 4 inspections for $300.
Gotcha.
And 441 to 2,000 gallons. The 6 inspections for 450. If you look at the second page, I broke it out on the second page. I'm sorry if I broke it out on the second page.
Page 2 has the better.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right. I'll catch up later.
Teacher, that was doing the same.
And for the third one, 2,000 gallons per day or more, he would do the normal 8 inspections for $600. And again, that's for Stephen Donatelli.
And just for a point of clarification, we had been working under the understanding that Steve Donatelli's an out is $100. That was the pricing you gave us previously, so it's saying it's actually $75.
$79 per inspection. So he does 4 on-site inspections.
Right, previously you told us it was $100 per inspection. So we did our pricing from our past meeting. When you gave us numbers, it was based that Steve's pricing was 100. So it's actually 75 is what his actual pricing is. It's not 100.
That was for the repairs. This is for on the full systems.
Well, we increased the amount for our first category up to 440. We increased that based against what we understood to be the costs from Tom Ryder and Steve Donatelli. So we were of the understanding, at least I was of the understanding that Steve's pricing was $100 per inspection, and Tom's pricing was $110 per inspection, which combined with the $220 from Tom, if it was 2 reviews that he did, and 3 inspections from Steve, which would be $300. would give us a 5.
For inspection.
No, previously, the information we had on this original setup was that Tom Ryder was 2 reviews at 110 per review, 220 total from Tom Ryder
Okay,
cost. On Steve Donatelli's side, it was 3 inspections at $100 per, which would be 300 from Steve. Total cost for that category would be 520. So based on the 520 number, we knew we were automatically in the hole. So that's why those are the numbers that we had initially. So
it really wasn't 3 inspections, it's really 4 inspections for each septic system. So it's really $75 per inspection.
so the hourly is actually $75.
Correct.
probably.
It's not hourly, it's per inspection. Just to get that, it's not an hourly rate, it's per inspection.
Right. So the number we had using a 440 as a reference was that Steve did 3.
All right, I talked to Steve after the fact.
Yeah.
His on-site inspections is 4 inspections for a new system for 440 gallons.
Okay.
So it's $300 for 4 inspections, not 3, 4.
Okay.
So it's $300, 4 inspections,
Okay.
$75 per hour.
So maybe it was
Well,
just
75 per inspection.
75
Per
per
inspection.
inspection. Yeah, all right, 75 per inspection, all right.
Well, no, it's confusing.
All right, but I did talk to Steve Donatelli after the fact, and we went through the numbers, and these are the numbers on the second page.
okay.
Okay.
Yep. I just wanted to
All
get
right,
clarification.
so the total cost for up to 440 gallons for Tom Ryder for 2 reviews, 220. On-site inspections for Steve Donatelli, 4 for $300. So it'd be $520 cost. And we raised it to $575 for Board of Health applications. So now we're looking at the 441 to 2,000 gallons. Plan reviews, norm is 3 for Tom Ryder. Steve Donatelli, the norm would be 6 inspections at 450. Cost would be 780 for the engineers. I'm suggesting, again, this is gonna be the board's decision, to 850. For 2001 gallons or more, plan reviews by Tom Ryder, the norm would be 4. On-site inspections by Steve Donatelli, he said the norm would probably be 8, $600. Total cost for that system would be $1,040. Again, at the board's discretion, I was raising it to $1,100.
The applicant pays.
The applicant pays for this, correct?
And if you recall too, we also have language in the application that states that if additional inspections beyond the norm were required for any system going in regardless, then the applicant would, we would tell them the applicant would have to pay those additional costs, and we determine the best way to handle that would be, if that were to occur, Jack would have to get a call from either Steve or Tom, say, hey, I'm gonna have to inspect, say the 441 to 2,000, I'm gonna have to inspect it 6 times, or whatever. reason.
Yeah.
And then Jack would then inform the applicant. And then the plan would be, we would look to get payment for that added inspections before we actually gave Tom and Steve the approval
Correct.
to go out and do their task. That happened.
Correct.
Have your money in hand.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay. Jack laid it out. We already have done the first category. Not a lot of wiggle room there, but see how it goes. Unless someone wants to up that.
I guess that's reasonable.
Okay,
That was fine for the moment.
All right.
75.
so are we in agreement with the proposal to raise the second and third category?
Well, I think based on the numbers, again, from a cost perspective, like we discovered in the first category, we'd be operating in the red. So if everything came through with all their invoicing on particular inspection and those other categories, I mean, there weren't any funds, let's say, we wouldn't have anything to pay the invoices on a complete project. So we have to at least be operating above cost. And I would suggest maybe we try to keep the same standard with the three categories as far as how we bumped the first one, apply the same to the other two categories, unless you have thought as to why we should go a little more.
Myself, I don't think we have a lot of wiggle room with the proposed numbers and with the number that we set for the first category.
Yeah,
I'm okay with the proposed numbers
yeah,
and seeing how it goes forward.
Mhm.
I would actually like a little more wiggle room than what's in there, but it's gonna be a matter of enforcing that clause, that if there are additional inspections required, that we get right on it
They have to pay,
and notify
right?
permit holder.
right. And we would know that we would have money in hand for any of those additional inspections before the ski or Tom
So-
work.
Right.
I would say that, if we were to look at this in 6 to 9 months, see how our books look, so to speak, we'll have a better read on things. But it's gonna take at least 6 to 9 months probably for the process to
Figure it out.
go through a
Yeah.
few times, because some people are pulling permits and they're not acting on them.
Oh, correct. We don't
So-
see too many of these installations in the second and third categories.
Very, very rare.
Would you say over 90% is probably in the lower categories?
Yeah, definitely. Not many homes come through with 5 or more bedrooms. It's either 3 or 4 max. But very rare do I see any systems in the middle or one or
So you'd be getting into a pretty large project, probably more on the commercial side.
Well, and my concern is that we make sure that those bases are covered, because we know that those commercial projects right along Route 16 that are gonna happen.
Mhm.
So the one notice that the installers and project managers have,
Yeah,
that this is what the fees are now, gives them more opportunity to plan. And it also, gives us an opportunity to see how these numbers work as these projects roll out.
Mhm.
I mean, we have to do it today. We'll be doing it tomorrow, so.
Right.
oh, absolutely. I think we have to absolutely make the decision right away to increase the fees. I don't think there's any doubt about that, like we did with the first category. And Jack showing us that on the other two categories, the same thing on common pricing. Based on what we know is going to come through from an invoice perspective from either Steve or Tom, it's going to be higher than what we're asking currently for the applicant. So we have to be above that.
Well, and as we've seen in the past, someone could pull a permit for one of these larger projects, and they might not act on it for 2 years.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So in 2 years, our expenses are gonna go up, but yet they've already paid the fee. So, yeah, so we need this,
So you might be
this clause right here is very important.
a time.
Maybe we need to add to this that on an annual basis, fees are adjusted. And if the inspections take
Yep.
place in a new calendar year or a new fiscal year, they could be subject.
Yeah, to additional charges,
And that would cover if our expenses go up.
right? So
Well, we should-
whatever the offset is, so say like Steve goes up to $125 and we base this on the $75. So that, $50 would have to be paid by the applicant. So a disclosure or something like that, that's. good.
Yeah, I think you could add it to that box.
Okay,
The only thing we need to decide on is, are we gonna review these annually on a calendar basis or a fiscal year basis?
well, I think that would be a Tom Ryder and a Steve Donatelli, because our price depends on their price and when they change it. So we have to find from them, do you guys raise your prices? They say willy-nilly, just do it in November. It's a calendar?
Yeah.
All right. So
And sometimes they don't. I know you've asked them certain times when we've had discussions, and they say, no, it's not gonna be.
Right.
I'm usually asking for the fiscal year beginning, not the calendar.
Okay, well, maybe clarify that.
Yeah.
But we need to add to that box.
Well, if we do
Everybody
that,
on board
then
with
that, that would cover that, concern.
Yeah.
If down the road,
Any
you know, the
cost
applicant
going
paid
down.
X amount, 2 years later, costs go up. Advise them that they,
And while we're talking about that, Jack, where you oversee some of the other departments, it might be something they want to consider. Someone goes to planning board and puts in a plan, doesn't act on it. And then they call for, the town planning person has to do whatever they have to do on it, update something. Just to make sure that they don't fall into the same hole that we fell into. When things carry on over a number of periods, like, and where you're overseeing some of the people in the special services, that might be something they want to consider too.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
so we're gonna vote on these?
so I think we should vote on them, and I'm fine with the numbers. That proposal for the other two categories, and nice round numbers. I like round numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an OCP of mine.
I think he was concerned there for a little bit, because I was playing devil's advocate going the other way. No, but I'm fine with the proposal. Jack's going on those other two categories.
Joyce?
I think that that's a good thing. I would make a motion. We accept these.
May I make another thing?
Get me.
On the second page, as highlighted, this also is gonna be an increase to private well permit applications, the first line. It was 100, obviously that's not gonna meet our needs.
Okay,
And the other one is the septic component repair replacement application, that is also $100. Both, I'm suggesting $125.
okay, and the reasoning behind.
That would be Tom Ryder again, he's the one that's reviewing these, he's $110 per hour.
Is the 25 adequate?
It's real quick, I think it's real quick.
Yeah, no, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think it is, me
Okay.
personally.
All right, so the motion has to cover that also.
Yes. Discussion?
I'm fine with the second half of the discussion as well, what you're proposing for those categories, having to bump up, given what we know the actual costs are
Yeah,
to that range. So we're talking about that first line in the private well, going
Correct.
to 125,
yep,
and on the last one,
correct,
component repair,
correct,
going to 125.
yes.
Okay.
We're all on the same page from the motion.
So I'll be happy to phrase this motion. See if I can phrase this correctly. I'll make the motion that the Board of Health increase its fees on the categories of 441 to 2,000 gallons and 2,001 gallon and up from current pricing of $700 and $825 respectively to $850 and $1,100 respectively. In addition, to increase our private well permit application to $125 and our component repair replacement application to $125.
Second.
I would second.
Don't want to repeat what you said.
I can.
All in favor?
Tom, I.
Grace, I.
Al and I,
And is there an effective date as of?
today.
I would say effectively.
Thank you.
I mean, I think people understand we can't operate in the red.
We're gonna add to that. folks.
Yes, we'll add to that.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for checking on all
I
that.
didn't even think about it. Tom's the one that I don't like, oh, makes sense.
Tom's always on the job. If we have no further discussion on that, we will move to agenda item 5, old business, private well regulation review.
I'll let Colleen take care of that one.
So what you have in front of you is I posed some draft language for insertion into the the well regulations regarding blasting requirements and testing requirements for wells before and after pre and post blast testing. So the first part of it is just the basic definitions that are used within the regulations so that people will understand what we're talking about. And then 6.0 is the pre-blast plan requirements. Basically said that I think that it's a good idea that we have a plan prepared by an environmental professional. Some engineers are also environmental professionals, so that they can actually locate the existing on-site septic systems, the wells, the distance of those to the blasting site. Also to identify, because there was the concern that we had about perchlorate, not necessarily used in the blasting because we're going to, eliminate that. But there is already chlorate areas in this town that, probably
Soil.
right in the groundwater as well. So I incorporated into the requirement to have this plan done in case of if there's any, acid rock drainage that may also impact the existing wells. So we suggested this language and that they also get their certified abutters list to identify all properties within the blast area and the requirements that a site plan would have. You'll see on the second page, obviously, the location of the proposed blast site, identify each abutter by street number and parcel. We want to see all the drinking water wells within the blast site area, the type of construction, if they know it, if it's a shallow well, if it's an artesian well, just so that we can, also in the pre-blast establish a baseline for the drinking water quality and quantity, because that's another thing, because blasting could impact their quantity. So that was something that we thought, Jack and I talked about it, but we thought was important to include in the requirement that when they do the testing, it's not just that, it's also for quantity as well as well. And then you see just to identify the on-site septic systems and any potential other sources of contamination in the area, depending upon where the blasting takes place. It could be abutting, a site that long ago was used, an apple orchard, say, and the concern for, arsenic, so we thought that was important as well. And then consulted with Isabella and Dylan, and we added in the language about, the wetlands, to identify any wetlands that could be disrupted within 500 feet of the proposed blast site. We also thought it was important to include any aquifers or other bodies of water, storm drains, sewer lines, depending upon the area, culverts and bridges and things like that. They should all be identified because the blasting could impact them. We don't know, we're not engineers, but to have them identified on a plan, we felt it was important for them to reflect that.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's covering a lot of ground.
Right, because, we don't know, and so the blast site could happen, 500 feet over here and you have a culvert that collapses and then the road gets flooded, and it's all because of the blasting, right? So this way here too, town resources are also, acknowledged and protected and included as well.
Points well taken, thank you.
And then just the pre-blast well testing requirements. we referred to the current well regulations, and the water sampling procedures. So we didn't feel the need to reiterate it here because this is going to be included in the well regulations. So it's part of them. They can go back to that paragraph and see what the requirement for the testing is. And then we put in that, you know, the testing of the drinking water has to meet the standard, you know, set down by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. So within our regulations, our regulation requirements. The post-blast well testing took into consideration the, you know, previous issue that we had on Uxbridge Road and the time frame that we wanted, and the board wanted for additional testing. So we put it out for 45 days, 180 days, and the 1 year. That's the requirement. That's the standard. So there's no, you know, asking if they would consider an additional testing. It's required.
Good, I like it.
Just that the testing has to be, you know, the standard. It has to be by an approved laboratory. And if there's any change in the drinking water quality or quantity during or after the blasting activity, the well owner should notify the applicant and the board immediately. And also put in that all expenses incurred to correct any type of contamination and or change in the pre-blast or post-blast well testing results shall be at the sole expense of the applicant. And just the disclosure about reasonable fees the town incurs, you know, is any type of litigation. So we sent this to Tom, haven't heard back from him yet. So this is just,
That makes sense.
you know, a draft, but I think if there's anything that the board, you know, wants to else to include in there, discuss before that maybe that we.
No, I think it, I think it's pretty extensive. I think you know, collaborating with other members of special services is spot on.
Mhm.
I'm going to assume we have to run this by legal.
Yes. And
basically, the baseline for this is anything within 500 feet or less. What's the significance of that?
So most of the time it's a 300-foot radius, but I was doing some reading and most of it was from out of state regulations, blasting regulations, and they suggest that 500 feet
Okay.
just because of, you know, the groundwater and the way that it flows. Groundwater can't flow farther than that. And then just if we including like the culverts and the bridges and whatnot, we could have a blast and, you know, underground. It could impact anything within a 500-foot. That was the standard that they
Okay.
used. So I just said, you know what, we're going to go.
Yeah, no, I again, that number where it's reoccurring, I wanted to know more significance of the 500. I'm fine with it. Joyce?
And I was fond of it before, when we were doing all that other stuff. I was really concerned about the stuff.
Yeah, and this way here too, I mean, you know, we lived and learned, right? So now we'll, you know, we have this on the books, and if there is any future blasting that has to occur with any of the southern coast development, we're going to be covered.
So the only, I think it's a great outline. It's awesome. Thank you. And I think it touches on everything that we were looking for, at least on the initial setup. And as we move along, we can always adapt or adopt as things come up, right? I know you touched on running this by legal. My concern here is whether or not you're thinking of wanting to put this into the current packet that we already have in aware of, and experiencing a further delay in getting people's approval on this. this is good that we have this. But personally, I would not want to see a delay on getting out the changes that we know we already are aware of and have already outlined, that have been presented. Waiting for legal. I thought we could get an answer from legal tomorrow. A different story. The experiences that we've had
Right.
with legal, not personally been great. And I understand, there's a lot they do. So I personally would not want to hold up the time frame, what we're trying to do to get the current changes that we all know that we're all in agreement on. Put them out there and get that public hearing scheduled. Want the public hear what we have now. And if this were to come in as an addition after the fact, I mean, we could always put in the definitions if we wanted to.
Mhm.
And in that section, 6.0, as you call it, if we wanted to say, future language coming that will define blasting criteria, something like that.
I'm fine with that.
Just not to hold up, because we could run into another bit of a delay in getting legal to approve this, and I personally would not see that happen.
I don't have.
And you don't think that we could say, we have another page, virtually 3 pages, that we would like you to review at this time, so that we can have it all done at one time? You don't think that that would be appropriate to say?
Well,
Vote to legal,
we can
yeah.
ask.
Yeah, you
That's
can
what I mean.
ask.
You're saying we'd like to have it all in one package?
To say to,
Legal,
well, yeah, I mean, this would be what we'd be presenting to legal to
Right.
review.
which is
My
pretty
concern,
benign. I mean, this is
Well-
pretty, it's not like it's,
so we think it's, but when you have legal involved and they're looking at it from a legality perspective,
right,
each one of these pages could be 2 weeks. Maybe I'm being a little facetious.
No,
I'm trying not to be, but I know they have other issues. that
Right.
They have to, this is not, this may not be something they could put at the top of their, list of priorities because
I mean,
everything
you
they
could
have.
run
going
it by
on.
him. Why not try
Well, we
running
could-
it by him, saying, we're trying to get this all done at the same time?
We could, and see what they say from
Right,
a
yeah.
response perspective.
Right.
We'd want to do that, I guess, and be prepared. And I guess the plan B would be, if they couldn't do it in a timely fashion,
Right,
then go to what my thought would be to put something in as a placeholder statement.
Yep.
For
And
the
you
body
can
of what
include
you
the
have.
definitions, like you said, and just have the 6.0 language, and
Yeah.
then you'd have to, the thing is that you have to, if you're gonna add that, it would technically be a revision to that, and that would require, it may require the board to have a hearing.
Yeah,
That's
but
correct.
that's, I think that minor.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We agreed that anytime we do a change, I think from a regulatory perspective, we agreed that we decided that it would be in a public hearing. We thought that would be the best way to go, put it out there, advertise it so that the public has the opportunity to weigh in on it
Mhm.
at the appropriate time, as opposed to, we could in some cases just make these changes.
and then have them be surprised when they come to get
Right.
there.
And
Yeah.
Paulie made that suggestion, which I thought was a great one. That way we're being transparent.
Right.
Giving the opportunity for the public to weigh in on anything with making a change. And,
The other thing you could do, I mean, send it to council, maybe ask Jeremy, see if anything jumps out at him,
Why not?
and,
that's fine.
like if he said, I see it, I mean, you could ask him. If he would.
I doubt he's gonna have time to look at it, because he's even done with other projects.
Oh, really?
Okay, so it's gotta go by legal aid. We know that, we're all on board with it. Sure that people that have experienced blasting close to them will be on board with it as far as the public is concerned.
Yeah.
However, we also know what happens, when you're too restrictive.
Mhm.
And only legal can tell us that.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So, if we're okay with this. then
Well, I
we
did
should-
have, well, there were a couple of elements about the write-up that I did want to throw out there. I wondered if we needed to be talking about being restrictive. I don't want to be restrictive, but I wondered if on a couple of things, if we need to be more specific. So on the last page, on the third paragraph, it says that there is a change in drinking water quality or quantity. So we need to kind of more specifically define what do we mean by a change? Because as you know, test results for well water changes seasonally. And it doesn't mean that there's a problem with water or an issue to address or concern, because the findings might still be within acceptable standards, as we kind of ran into with that other situation, right?
Right.
The post results, we couldn't conclusively say that there was a problem to be concerned
I
about.
could tease that out a little bit, give an example of, like quantity, obviously would be like if the result was you had no water, or there was a significant reduction in the flow, something along those lines.
Yeah,
I didn't know if we could add that to definitions.
Yeah, we could do that too.
The definition of a
Define flow.
change,
a definition of change, okay?
and then leave that the way it is. But if we define what a change is,
Yep,
so, and pertaining to quality and quantity, and just put it in definitions.
And maybe that definition probably would be some sort of reference maybe to state standards or
Requirements.
measurement ranges, something.
yeah, I'll research it.
Right,
I
and
can
as
add
far
that
as
in there.
quantity would be, I forget what it is, was it 4 or 5 gallons per minute to run a house? So that would be the bottom.
Yeah.
As far as quantity goes. So it's, quality would be anything outside of state mandated minimums or maximums.
Right.
And just put it in the definitions, because we can do that fairly simply.
Yeah. I
And that
can-
way there, we can insert it into the well regs in the definitions section of the plastic. And then when legal has an opportunity to advise us on the rest of it, we'll do another town meeting. Public hearing, another public hearing. It will be the same thing we're doing, we're prior to the meeting.
Yep.
And, that won't hold up well regs.
Right, yep.
But yet, everybody will be aware that this is coming.
The other thing on the last paragraph on page 3, when you say reasonable fees, is that, think that requires any more specificity or clarity, or is that sufficient enough?
Yeah, I mean, reasonable fees is a term that's used. I mean, it usually relates to legal expenses. I mean, I could say including but not limited to legal expenses, costs of,
Additional
Consultants.
engineering
right,
inspections, yeah.
right. I could tease that out.
And then the only other thing I had noticed, and not that it's something to change, but I just wondered if there was meant to be more verbiage in it. It's on page 2. And the paragraph at the bottom under 6.2, post-blast well testing. So on third sentence at the end where it starts, it says, in addition to ammonia perchlorate, then in parentheses, it talks about if the salts, ammonium, potassium, magnesium, and sodium perchlorate is an ingredient of the blasting agent. Then it went into 45 days. I think there's some language that was probably intended to go there.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the draft, yep,
so just to kind of make the flow.
yep.
Yeah,
So should it be testing? 25 days, 80 days, and 1 year after the blasting? All the analytical test results with the board.
Yep,
yeah, I think just to connect the two together.
right, yeah, there is language.
Yeah. Other than that, but I love the draft. I think it's a great presentation of what we're trying to do. There's something in there I don't know if you, had continued conversations or any, follow-up conversations with fire about it?
I'm gonna work with fire on the actual blasting regulations.
Regulation, got it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, we're gonna work with chief on that. We already talked about
We
it.
get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, which I've started. But yeah, definitely gonna work with and Dylan, and Isabella.
Yep.
And probably gonna take this, put it in there too, you know what I mean, as for regarding any water, well water testing. This will probably get put in there too.
Yeah.
I'm starting to take a look at, fire, permit application and the blasting regulations. Have a draft of those, so I was gonna put something together and then the chief and I, we would sit down and, you know, just,
Actually,
right,
Good.
So I think that would, I think covers the blasting element of the topic. And the question now goes to, I think, what we already know and have in hand. Is there anything that we still have questions on? And if not, could we then now instruct Jack to put that all together and then work on scheduling a public hearing
Okay, so we're back to talking about well regulations in general.
in general?
Okay.
In general, yeah.
Were we waiting for any feedback on?
the only thing, everybody approved everything for the last meeting, the
Right.
well regulations. The only addition is calling that we're waiting on for the blasting part of that. But there's nothing preventing me from putting an ad out saying we're gonna have well regulations. Public hearing.
Okay, so with that one definition issue. We're good with the definitions to be inserted in the well regs?
I'd say that I don't see any reason why we couldn't put the definition piece of the blasting
Right,
right in here.
yeah, and then the
And I'll end that-
next section blank.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's move forward.
and I numbered the definitions where the well regulation definitions ended.
Yeah.
So I just picked up, that's where I got the 2.2, 2.21,
got
which
it.
is a continuation of that, of the definition.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And the well regulations. And then the same thing with the 6.0, that's where they ended. And I picked up and added the 6.0, 6.1, right, so it's continuous.
now we do have currently already a 6.0 well destruction category. So this now
Oh.
becomes 7.0.
Yeah,
We have a
No,
6
I
inch.
think you told Ron it was gonna go in between somewhere in well regulations. But we'll number it appropriately.
I mean, we could put it before well destruction. You're thinking it belongs somewhere else other than at the very end.
yes, you're right, that's right. That's where it is. I misspoke.
So we would put, the plan would be to put the blasting piece as 6 and then move well destruction to 7.
Seven.
Correct,
And all those things would be 7.1, 7.2.
correct.
Okay.
So in the time frame,
And then variance changes in the other one. So variance becomes 8.
yeah, all the
Penalties
numbers
become
of letters should
9.
change.
Just
Let's move up by-
Yeah, they move up by one letter. one
up by
number.
1 number. Yep, okay. Sorry,
No, not even.
go ahead.
So potentially looking at September 10th for the public hearing.
prior to our opening.
Yes. We could September 10th.
Yeah,
And what we would do there, and you have to correct me on protocols, it would be, we'd incorporate that into our agenda.
Put it in our agenda, public hearing, it goes in the
At a set
newspaper.
time,
Set time.
7 o'clock, whatever,
So-
whatever time you want. You
Yeah.
open the public hearing, blah, 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 close the public hearing. and then go to-
Now, if we set the public hearing, like say, like, it's the first item, 7, we don't have to have an end time, right?
No,
Just a beginning time.
okay, so
well, you have, I mean, there's no time limit on it, but when you end it, you have to say, we're ending, excuse me, the public hearing at 8:15.
Okay,
We're gonna go into regular session.
okay.
So here's the thing,
we have to open the meeting.
You have to
So
open the
we'll open the
meeting.
meeting at 7 and have
Yeah.
the hearing at 7:05.
Yep, Yep.
So we'll open the meeting, say it's recorded, do roll call.
Yeah.
Public hearing, to your point, is the first thing on the agenda, so that'll actually be 7:05.
And then during that time, that's the first item. Nothing is, say there is no public. We still want to give some time. Are we able to discuss little things during that time?
Mm-mm.
So that's just a time period that's just open.
Yep.
And we just, it'd be just quiet time for X amount of time. So, and then would we be saying in advance though, when we're gonna close it?
No,
So the chairman would open it at 7:05.
right, for discussion, you guys would discuss it, say these are the well regulations, you know,
Basic intro to kind of almost like a summary of what we've been doing.
Yes. Yeah.
just what, and you could even very lightly, you don't have to touch on what the changes were, you could just have a bullet of this, the different changes.
I do have a script prepared for the public hearing, for what else, when it comes time to, yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Just so we know we're saying it right, we're hitting all the key items that we're supposed to for a public hearing,
Okay.
and then we're following the open meeting law and all that stuff.
Okay, beautiful.
So I do have a script for everybody's.
Awesome, okay. And then once we kind of do that, then we're just kind of waiting. And then the chair would decides when,
If there's no one in the public, you're not obligated to keep it open because you advertise the public hearing. You're not waiting.
At a
for
certain
people to come
time.
in.
Right.
Right. And then, so, you know, there's no one, no members of the public or touched on the things.
Yeah, it's basically like public right here on everything
Right.
now. It says good welfare for the public. If there's nobody's gonna say anything, chairman can say, all right, we're closing the public hearing.
like, you almost, when it close it, almost.
If there's nobody here,
A lot of times that's exactly what happens. It opens at 7:05 and it closes at 7:10,
10.
yeah, done.
unless you have,
People
you know,
coming in.
people that,
A cast of them.
right,
Yeah,
right. And a lot of times that's what it
Hey,
is.
remember with tobacco? We thought that we were gonna have some convenience store owners and that organization that represents them, and
Nothing.
no. That doesn't mean it's gonna roll the same way, but
Right.
it could potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since we officially updated well regs?
2017 was the last event.
So that's the bottom line.
Right.
What is,
Well, I think these changes would be good, heard from commercial side, real estate folks. So this will help give them a little bit of guidance in the process of some of these things. Yeah. I mean, I know ADUs are another whole, oh, that's the other thing now, ADUs, are we gonna
There's a placeholder for ADUs as
get a
well.
place over for ADUs?
Got up to Dylan today actually, about ADUs.
yeah, she was answering lots of
Well,
questions.
that's where she is.
Granted, there's a lot of answers to give, right? Okay, cool. So we're good.
Yes.
Good job.
Very nice.
Joe.
Some stuff done.
Other,
Team. Teamwork.
Right.
What it is, that's what makes us so successful.
Well, to start, they Colleen still has.
What?
You're gonna still have a lot of work with the reg side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like,
We appreciate it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to admin updates. Agenda item 6.
So the landfill, the abutters of the landfill, the water samples have been collected. Out of the 12 properties, 9 have been completed, so there's 3 other properties that we're still waiting for. That's because they're not available at the time that Atlas is available to take samples, so I did reach out to Atlas. They might be able to do a nighttime sampling when people are home, so we can get back from them. But we have 9 out of the 12 samples taken so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
What was the date?
inspection?
September,
Okay, that's the physical.
that's when they come out, yes.
Has John gone back and
I was gonna go out today to take a look at everything, but I haven't had it. Today was a bad day.
No, that's fine.
But I was gonna go
It
out
was a bit-
because I wanted to follow up,
Yeah, just want to be sure that that's,
trust and verify. So I wanted to see myself to,
yeah, just want to make sure that the depression wash out
correct.
for the seed took,
Yes.
for the inspection.
Yeah.
Have to come back.
Yeah.
Very good.
Remind me, what was the date that we got extended from DEP?
December 31st.
Yep.
Because we're gonna have to request more money.
Yeah.
For special town meeting, annual town meeting.
Special.
Special.
Special, so be in
Special.
November.
Right.
That's all I got.
No, that's awesome. 9 out of 12. That's.
That's shy.
Yeah.
Health agent updates, please.
So we've been addressing some state sanitary code concerns with a couple of passes of property in town. One of them, I'm happy to report has resolved itself. And there was some acknowledgement as far as the need to bring that particular group to compliance by the housing authority. The other property is something that to the board. We participated in the community event with the police and fire department. We had it up at the Mendon Beach, and Deb Frasera, our public health nurse, did the bite lab, which was a huge hit with kids. There was 100 kids.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, it was really a good day. She had the different sizes of mosquitoes and, between this glass, and she had the magnifying glass, and the kids just thought that it was great. They had the police dogs there.
Yep.
And, yeah, and touch of trucks. So the kids had a great day, and happy to participate in it. I did the yearly inspections to the Evergreen Center. And it was status quo. I did have to go back and inspect one of their centers and then did kitchen needs attention.
And what was it? What?
The Evergreen.
It's like residential homes.
Oh,
Residential homes,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
so we have to inspect it immediately.
We have 3 of them, correct?
Yep, yep.
Actually, one's next door, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
I
That was-
forget about the one. Your neighborhood.
yeah, yeah, yep. That was one of his.
Okay.
And
And they took care of it.
absolutely, Jason Gallagher is great to work with. He's right on top of everything. I mean, the whole organization now is a great organization. Kids are very well cared for. The properties themselves are maintained.
There's one in Northwood Road, right?
Yep, yep, that's the newest one. We have been dealing with some Title V issues on Kinsley Lane. Did get the report that you turned about trace, so we did secure that. That was a passing report. And then it was contingent upon the Title V inspector to say contingent wanted the pumping record received. But we had another issue with another property on Kinsley Lane that we're addressing, both Steve and I, Jack, have been pursuing it. Property owner, very cooperative, and I'm sure that, we will, we're pretty close to bringing.
Was it septic?
Yeah, what happened was that it's a tank. What they did is they attached outlet pipe and created an illegal leaching field. That filled up as they have no alarm on the tank. This leached out. It's on a hill. We all know what happens. So we addressed that immediately. And like I said, I have to say the homeowner was very, very cooperative. Until we went through various and sundry ways of water conservation. They're new to a septic system. They're used to, a sewer system. Yeah,
Uh,
so we went
Actually,
through,
disappears.
yeah, you know, different ways over on water conservation is your friend. So we'll be working with them. Like I said, I have no doubt that probably worked. And we scheduled the second round of tobacco compliance checks with the tobacco compliance company that we worked with 6 months ago. So I have it scheduled for September. No, it's in September. And continue up with the food truck inspections, things up at Vanderbilt, going great, and we're gearing up for the walk the block. We've been getting permit applications for that, so we've been pretty busy. Pretty busy.
To go back to the tobacco thing, what do you think about the nicotine selling packs?
Yeah, you had brought that up.
The little packets,
Nicotine,
little containers.
Oh, really?
yeah,
No, I'm not aware of it.
that they're selling.
Well, I'm sure Casey, I'm sure she's right on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had heard something in a news clip about.
Yeah,
So they're definitely out there, but I don't know what they classify them as,
I'll ask it.
but it's almost like
It's
the
just-
replacement for snuff. You know? Now you just that in, and melts away.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Topics not anticipated.
I have none.
I was a nicotine.
I do see progress up at 403 Blackstone Street.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, talking with Steve Donatelli, he's been up there inspecting it. Better looking Phil too. And yeah, there was some activity over the trucks that were being moved in and out. I don't know if they were dumping additional fill in there.
Okay. Yeah, I do see
but-
material showing up.
Yeah, but Steve's up there inspecting it. So that should be brought into compliance too.
Talk about taking
Give up.
on that.
We're in the home stretch.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so is that it for topics not anticipated within 48 hours, which good and welfare for the board?
Have one. You have any?
Well, that was my nicotine one at the same time.
Oh. The other thing I had was just a mention, for you folks who are aware of, back on the 28th, the select board had a meeting. One of their agenda items was goal setting. If you have an opportunity to view it, it's up there posted. That was a very good meeting. I attended it. It was on a Monday night, so I think it was up off the normal schedule for Wednesdays. There's only 2 items on the agenda. There was that one. I also did a nice presentation, citation for Bill. The select board did a nice presentation. Chief of police also did a nice one with that for the police department. So that was nice. And then the other major item on the agenda was the goal setting. So it's pretty involved. They got into a lot of different areas, covered quite a bit. Being here and sitting, listening to it, just made me realize how much is going on in the town. So many different aspects, things that the board's trying to cover. But if you have an opportunity, I think it'd be a good listen to get an idea. It's there. It was their July 28th select board meeting.
How do you do that?
You go to the town website and specifically go to the select board's webpage. And on the left-hand side, just like our page, one of the options is to watch archived meetings, watch archived. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. You click on that and then you'll go out to YouTube. It'll tell you it's moving you from unlike you did do this before, the new
Yeah.
website tells you you're leaving this one, you gotta go out to YouTube. You get on YouTube, you'll see all
It's like,
the meetings will come up with something.
well, our meetings are.
I found it to be very informative. I mean, one of the key elements that came up, and I had an opportunity actually to speak, was communication. What they're really going to try to focus on is having a good, solid line of communication with other boards and committees. So I know something that, has been talked about in the past, and I know for a period of time they do the liaison program. They have a select board member associated with the different boards and committees, and they're still doing that. But they, that came up that having more of a direct conversation, boards and committees, could be beneficial. One of the things that came up, Jack could maybe add to this is, I know the town administrator has been meeting with department heads. It's had a meeting with department heads. And part of that, in that conversation I was having with them, I suggested it would probably be a good idea, along with the department head, if you're able to have a member of the committee or the board participate in those communications. Because sometimes what can happen is you might be communicating something at the department head level, but somebody at the board level is unaware. And then it comes back, there might be more communication, more thoughts that might go to that particular topic. So I just suggested to them it could help keep both the board level informed as well as the department head at the same time. So they took that in, and that may get incorporated at some point. So, but I was happy to hear what they were looking at the goals, and they covered quite a bit of territory. There was also, you might have seen it, Jeremy sent out a nice email back on the 31st
Yeah.
that summarized basically that meeting.
Yeah, I guess so.
So if you have a chance, it went too well. Supposedly it's supposed to go to all Mendon users, but I think there was a problem where it didn't hit all Mendon users. So if you might not have seen it. I don't know if they were working on that
They
issue.
were working on it, correct?
Yeah, so it's possible you missed it, but it was a nice write-up, basically summarized.
So you can see it on your computer. I mean, I can do it on my computer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was it. I just wanted to mention that. Good meeting.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for attending and passing that on. Anything else? Set our next
I
meeting,
mean,
Next meeting would be August 27th.
I
7.
said I may.
7 o'clock here?
Yep. So when is we,
August 27th.
Things like it's right around the corner, honestly, It's so summer's gone.
with the year go.
That's. People going back to school.
Anything that we can think of that we want to talk about next week?
The only thing I would ask, if we could, if we're able to, I'd like to get an update on how things have gone with the beach and lake testing.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, I got an analysis of everything that we've been testing for so far, and put a report together.
just something to have out in front of the public,
Yeah.
for the public to hear.
And the other thing would be maybe some feedback from legal as to what they think their time frame might be, just for our knowledge.
All right, so I'm not giving her or legal the regulations up after our public hearing for it.
Well, I would say, we give her, I know,
Yeah.
Colleen is gonna modify a couple of things, but
All right, so give it to her second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the wheels turning.
yeah.
You tell her that we've got a public hearing in X days.
That's probably not realistic,
No,
but
I'm just.
yeah. Once it gets there, at least the clock is moving. And we're good with what we have.
I
And
think so.
there is a chance that something might come back that we need to tweak further.
Okay,
to cover the legal side of something. So it's gonna be a process.
Right.
September 16th. It's around,
Was that,
September 6th.
September
Tobacco.
16th, the tobacco compliance
Okay.
checks.
Yeah.
I had to look at, because I did not put it in my calendar, so it's good that we discussed it, so I'm back in my.
And you know what? That's what I want done.
Oh, Tommy, you hear me? We'll be putting the Christmas tree up next week, Joyce.
Honestly, I really feel like this, my life is.
So if we don't have anything else,
Taking-
have a motion to adjourn,
So move.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
all in favor?
Tom, I.
To the side.
Al and I.
Thank you all.
Very much, everyone.